December. Our main story, the Prime Minister has urged people to take a COVID test before attending New Year's Eve parties this evening.
No new restrictions have been introduced in England, but in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, tighter rules are now in place for hospitality venues and indoor gatherings.
It comes amid concerns over the availability of coronavirus tests as the government pledges to deliver 8 million additional kits to pharmacies by today. Matt Graveling reports.
This is how London rang in 2020. But this year, like last, will feel very different for many people. For the second year running, London's famous New Year's Eve fireworks celebrations have been cancelled because of the coronavirus pandemic. In comparison this year, restrictions have eased. There are vaccinations and tests also available. But with coronavirus infections in record numbers, how will people choose to celebrate? Well, that does depend on where you are. No new restrictions have been introduced in England, but the government is urging people to take a lateral flow test and celebrate outdoors if possible.
We're not as stressed about it as we used to be. And also the club where we're going, you have to have a COVID pass. I feel pretty safe going there, to be honest.
I've been a little bit worried because I have asthma, so it's a little bit like, that's it. Just, we'll be careful.
Would you have gone out had it not been for COVID?
Yeah, 100%.
In Scotland, new rules mean many Hogmanay events are cancelled. Mixing is limited to 3 households and social distancing measures are in place in hospitality venues.
It's looking okay. It's not looking anything like we would be hoping to have at this time of year. This is when we hope, as well as the bells ringing, the tills are ringing. And that isn't happening this year.
In Northern Ireland, only 3 households will be able to mix. Nightclubs are closed and dancing is banned in hospitality venues. Groups of no more than 6 can meet in pubs in Wales. Nightclubs are closed and indoor gatherings limited to 30 people. For some, they're taking their celebrations on the road, crossing the border into England.
Well, we've come up from Bridgend to spend New Year's Eve in London, and we're hoping to come down here and see some fireworks. It's all banned in Wales, so let's come over and enjoy it.
Crossing the border for New Year's is legal, and while the Welsh Government is asking people to act conscientiously, the Scottish Government has urged people not to travel to England to party. And there's still concerns over the availability of lateral flow tests, but the government has pledged that 8 million additional tests will be delivered to pharmacies by today. Wales had already loaned 4 million tests to England. Health Secretary Sajid Javid has pledged that the UK supply will be tripled early next year to 300 million per month. So, the message for tonight: take a test before any celebrations and kick off the new year in a cautious and sensible way. Matt Graveling, BBC.